The Outer Rim sieges were the final stand of the Confederacy of Independent Systems in the final phase of the Clone Wars. So here's an explainer on what the Outer Rim sieges actually were and how the Separatists found themselves in that dire situation. So before we get into the Outer Rim sieges, remember to smash the subscribe button for more Clone Wars content as every new episode of Season 7 releases. Right from the beginning of the Clone Wars, the Republic had struggled to gain a clear advantage over the Separatists. One of the reasons for this was because of their unwillingness to commit sufficient resources to the war, allowing the Separatists to gain a foothold in the mid-rim. Support for the war was falling within the Republic, and they were taking unsustainable losses around the galaxy. The Republic decided that the Separatist advances into the core must be stopped at all costs, pushing them to ramp up production and their resources for the war about 2.5 years into the conflict. The Republic then committed all of its industrial strength towards the war, hoping to swiftly turn the tides. This redistribution of industrial might allowed the Republic to repel the Separatists out of the core and win key victories at the battles of Duro, Comenor and Balmorra, marking a turning point in the war. This string of victories by the Republic in the core and mid-rim pushed the Separatists back to the spiral arms of the galaxy and left them with only their Outer Rim territories remaining, sparking the beginning of the Outer Rim sieges. Because the Separatists were unable to access the resources and raw materials of their previously captured mid-rim worlds, they began to retreat to their Outer Rim worlds, hoping to draw the Republic's forces into the Outer Rim, leaving them vulnerable to an attack on their capital, Coruscant. The Separatists had also hoped to keep the Republic forces occupied in as many locations as possible, giving them time to rebuild their fleet of ships and legions of droids. The sieges began when, in response to the Separatist retreat, the forces of the Republic fully committed to pummeling the Confederacy bases at the border of the Outer Rim. On top of committing a large attack force to Ryloth, the Grand Army of the Republic went as deep into the Outer Rim as the homeworld of Count Dooku, Sereno. Eventually, the Republic pushed the Separatists as far back as Kashyyyk, led by Grand Master of the Jedi Order, Yoda, which we saw in Revenge of the Sith. The fighting eventually became so intense on 3 specific worlds that Palpatine called them the Triad of Evil. These 3 planets were Felucia, Mygeeto and Seleucami. He gave the 3 planets this name because of the intense battles and immense loss of life in these 3 locations. After this powerful statement, Palpatine gained the support of the Senate to send the Coruscant Home Guard to reinforce the legions of clones already fighting on the Triad of Evil worlds, opening the door to stage his kidnapping on Coruscant, which again we saw in Revenge of the Sith. And despite all of this, the true purpose of the Outer Rim sieges was to lure the majority of the Republic's clone forces out to the fringes of the galaxy, making it significantly easier for Palpatine to seize power. Once the Republic had committed so many Jedi and clones to the Outer Rim sieges, they were unable to quickly return to the core in case of a surprise attack, which of course eventually came. 6 months into the Outer Rim sieges, with the Jedi's attention focused on the Outer Rim, Chancellor Palpatine ordered General Grievous to target the Republic capital in the Battle of Coruscant and kidnap him. At this point, the Outer Rim sieges were brought to an abrupt end when Palpatine delivered Order 66 to all clone troopers, leading to the extermination of the Jedi and the fall of the Republic. Because the Jedi were spread so thinly throughout the galaxy and isolated away from each other, they were caught off guard by the surprise attack from their clone troopers. While Order 66 was being carried out, Anakin Skywalker, who by that time had already been turned to Darth Vader, travelled to Mustafar to kill the Separatist Council and deactivate the droid army, ending the Outer Rim sieges and the Clone Wars. And that's everything we know about the Outer Rim sieges from both Legends and canon material. It's possible we'll learn more about it from Clone Wars Season 7 Siege of Mandalore arc coming very soon, so stay tuned to the channel for updates on that. So if you enjoyed that little explainer on the Outer Rim sieges and want to hear more Clone Wars lore, especially with Clone Wars Season 7 airing right now, remember to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Also comment down below letting me know what you'd like me to cover. So thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.